2 decades. But something important happened before the game. As you know, the collective bargaining agreement is under discussion right now between the league and their players. And before the game, the players came out without their warm-ups on with shirts that said, "Pay us what you owe us." There is a feeling among the players, as they expressed in their meeting on Thursday, that they...
Over the last week, the WNBA has been making headlines recently over shirts worn at their 2025 All-Star Game. In this game, the players wore shirts stating, "Pay us what you owe us," when coming out for warm-up in these. Naturally, social media has had mixed responses about how they feel the players demanding pay raises, with responses on X, formerly known as Twitter, with people saying WNBA players wearing "Pay us what you owe us" shirts during warm-ups. How delusional are they? And everyone coming together to clown these players. Skip Bayless, a sports analyst notorious for his controversial takes, had this to say on Twitter: "Pay us what you owe us," thanks to Caitlin Clark.
My turn! You told me it was my turn.
You can talk all that you want to, yell and scream, you lost.
It is my turn.
You lost the game.
It's my turn.
Take as long as you want, you're still lost.
My fifth.
All this drama had me thinking, though, do the WNBA players deserve more money with the added spotlight from young stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese? This wouldn't be the first instance of players from a professional sports league advocating for a pay raise. We'll use data and history to determine the case of the WNBA pay and how history could repeat itself for the betterment of these players. Let's jump back in time. The year is 1980, and the NBA has had struggles consistently profiting and just lost $13 million the previous season. The season before that, a $8 million loss. Although the NBA had become the established American Basketball League, the profitability and popularity of the sport was a different conversation. However, just a year prior, in 1979, people saw two future Hall of Famers collide in the NCAA March Madness Championship game. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson would revolutionize college basketball in this game. The game was huge, and an article by Slam states that the televised game had a score of 24.1, which means 2 in every 5 houses, or 40% of houses, in America, were watching the two up-and-coming stars battle it out. This at the time was unprecedented. No college game ever in history up to this point surged the type of popularity and attention this game did. The game would reshape college basketball forever, drawing many new eyes to the NCAA March Madness tournament. If you haven't been living under a rock and have been paying attention to college basketball in the last 3 years, you will remember a very similar situation. In 2023, we saw a similar phenomenon where two rival players would face each other in a game. Caitlin Clark, a prolific scorer who can shoot the ball like Steph Curry, and Angel Reese, a double-double machine who will get the job done down low. These two saw each other as rivals and let their skill sets do the talking during that finals game. The game hit 9.9 million viewers, which shattered the old record set in 1992 during the Virginia-Stanford National Semifinal on CBS. In 2024, however, when they met in the Elite Eight the following year, they would put on a show for ESPN, drawing in the largest viewership in ESPN's history for a college basketball game, at 12.3 million people. At the peak of this game, they held 16.1 million viewers. If you aren't drawing the connection, you can tell that Magic Johnson vs. Larry Bird and Caitlin Clark vs. Angel Reese are both very similar situations. Both went to leagues who are struggling to find success after being college phenomenons, and both players have a rivalry between one another, making fans choose a side. When you're able to draw in a huge audience just by being present in a game, you become a superstar. Take LeBron James and Steph Curry, for example. Anytime, whether it's in the regular season or playoffs, that we see these two face each other, everybody wants to tune in and watch that game. This is all very good for women's basketball, but the question is, how can this dwindle down, the pay gap? Let's take it back to 1980. Like I mentioned earlier, the NBA still would fail to consistently turn a profit, even after being a 34-year-old league. Even with one of the rookies, Magic Johnson, playing in the finals and winning the finals MVP, the league still couldn't turn itself into a profiting one. While the NBA had profited before this season, it was inconsistent, and not until the mid-1980s did they start to see substantial gains. The three stars of this time, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and a name everyone should be familiar with in Michael Jordan, were key to making the NBA more popular than ever before. When players started to become as popular as these three, some even being household names in certain areas, this led the NBA to be able to negotiate better TV deals, which in turn would allow these substantial gains to occur. All this money, with the increase of revenue share given to the league, would in turn allow player salaries to increase. Without the NBA drafting and marketing the icons Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Michael Jordan, who knows where this league would be today. When comparing this to the WNBA and their marketing, they have room to improve. If they market their players better as well as treat their stars with care, this should help them bring in more attention. It's no secret that Caitlin Clark is the current face of the WNBA. When you look at the numbers, the Indiana Fever draws in the most viewers when she is healthy and playing. However, when running a business, you can't let your players get beat up and be sidelined due to injury. Caitlin this year alone has had 3 separate muscle injuries, causing her to not even play in this year's All-Star game, a game in which if she does play, more eyes are set on her and the rest of the current stars in the WNBA. Last year, when she did play in their All-Star game, they brought in 3.44 million viewers on ABC. This year, however, it drops by 36% with 2.2 million viewers. Along with missing the Commissioner Cup's championship game, a tournament similar to the NBA Cup, they've been facing minor setbacks due to this, and when trying to build a league off the back of a few popular players, their availability matters. My point in all of this, that growth takes time, and the WNBA has been very slowly growing over the years. The arrival of Caitlin and Angel, however, have caused this to be more rapid. To show this, I've created 2 charts for us to look at. Very simple charts, but they will summarize the story perfectly. In this first graph, which shows the revenue made by the NBA from 1980 to 1999, you can see that they started to grow, and by 1984 they had become a profitable league. In 1984, a couple things had happened. First, Michael Jordan was drafted. 2, the NBA signed a new CBA, allowing the players to start to make more money, and the league as a total. And number 3, David Stern became the commissioner of the NBA. A lot of people love to say that David Stern ran the NBA like the WWE. The results would start to show, though. In 1980, the average salary for an NBA player was $180,000. By the end of this decade, it soared up to $900,000. And even in 1999, during the NBA lockout, the players were negotiating again for better salary cap rules, allowing players to go from making a max of $9 million up to $14 million. In comparison to the NBA chart, the WNBA has never profited, but we did see a $18 million increase from 2023 to 2024 when Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese were drafted to the WNBA. So with that being said, what the WNBA needs to do to continue this success is, for one, protect its star players. Nobody wants to watch a game. Are you going to watch the Lakers without LeBron or Luka Doncic playing? Are you going to watch the Houston Rockets without Kevin Durant playing? Or Amen Thompson, or Alperen Sengun for that example. The list goes on. Are you going to watch the Boston Celtics without Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown playing? The answer, most of the time, unless you're a diehard fan, is no. To add on to what I'm saying, nobody wants to watch the WNBA games without these star players playing, especially Indiana Fever fans who love Caitlin Clark. Doing this and getting them on the floor will also help you in marketing deals. When negotiating the CBA, now they have 2 players in Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark that many people want to watch play basketball. This helps them give leverage because now they have something to help further sell their product. And this brings me back to my example and why I mentioned Magic Johnson and Larry Bird so much. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird both came into the league and people started watching. People loved watching their game. They loved watching them compete with each other, which in turn allowed the NBA to negotiate a better contract and for players, therefore, to earn more money, as well as the league. Currently in 2025, the WNBA has been renegotiating their contracts with the CBA after opting out of it. It wouldn't surprise me if history repeated itself the same way it did for the NBA, especially with social media and these stars already having huge followings on it, something that didn't exist back in the 1980s. When the stars will rise to the occasion, the money will rise right alongside it. Let me know your thoughts, though. Do you think the WNBA players deserve their money now, or should they wait it out, focus on building the sport and drawing attention to it the same way Larry Bird and Magic Johnson did? If you like this video, please be sure to hit that like button, and please subscribe for future uploads. I will see you guys in the next upload.